Hey guys, I've had a message sitting in my inbox for about half a month at this point. It's basically, well, I'll read the whole thing to you, so it's not basically, I'll just read the whole thing. It's a response to specifically my re to the third power, which is the last step in a series of videos, basically conversations between me, agnostics, and Baha'is. Just happened that way. Nothing's ever planned. Sorry about that. Anyway, this message is by username Jchanceh9. I'll write it somewhere. Hey Kalen, I was going to post this as a comment to re to the third power, but it got too long. There are just a few points I wanted to mention. You claim that to go to the source, or in this case the Abrahamic God, is the best way to prove the fallibility of religion. Consider the fact that Christianity utilizes the Torah and progresses upon it. The same with Islam in relation to both Christianity and Judaism. Now consider our technology. If you wanted to prove that any of our previous technology was fallible, then you'd be right. But you'd have to investigate the most modern to be correct in your critique, as your criticism based on past knowledge is irrelevant to today. Moses progressed upon Abraham, Christ upon Moses, Muhammad upon Christ, and at least as far as my investigation has led me, the I can never say this right, Baha'u'llah upon Muhammad. I can say Muhammad fine, but Baha'u'llah, that's right, okay. So how could you go to the most basic form we have and criticize our then far more limited knowledge when there is much more in front of us now to consider? The point of arrogance, I think, is one that anyone with a consistent faith has to deal with. Why exactly do you have a problem with the concept of intelligent design, parenthesis, leaving creation out of it, end parenthesis? ID can be viewed as science explaining God's handiwork, not contradicting it. The concept has been turned into a matter directly related to the legitimacy of Jesus' miracles, when if you consider the miracles as spiritual, for example, the blind made to see and deaf made to hear, meaning that the ignorant were made knowledgeable, then they aren't contradictory to science, and may even be able to be considered to complement and promote expanding one's knowledge. Just to add, you jump on the point of atheists being less arrogant than theists, but it's kind of irrelevant since the guy's an agnostic. When either a theist or an atheist becomes hostile or malicious in intent, intellectually, physically, etc., then I think an agnostic has every reason to persecute the radical persecutor. Wars have been declared from both sides, and both have taken licks from the other. So why would we take individuals' fallible actions as representing the whole of their organization? Furthermore, if you believe humans to be stupid, hairless apes, then why do you care if theists wage wars on one another? From that point of view, it is merely a harsh version of natural selection. By attacking them, atheists only place themselves in the line of fire when, by reason of their argument, they should be the ones getting as far away from the issue. Just because a theist believes that someone will hold him accountable for his actions does not make him arrogant. If someone commits a crime, the government will punish him, not because they are paying him special attention, but because they have made laws that everyone must follow. For the criminal, it is not an issue of getting attention or arrogance, it is an issue of compulsory law. The issue of comparing God's existence to that of leprechauns doesn't completely make sense, since 1. God is supposedly unknowable. I'll come back to this so you don't have to say how convenient. And I will. I will anyway. 2. Religious texts are some sort of proof of God. And 3. The ideology of leprechauns has not prevailed in the face of extreme suppression and adversity, and come to be established as the fundamental belief of over half the world's population, after the threat of extinction its age of infancy. Whereas the followers of the Abrahamic God have. No, I don't quite follow that last sentence either. Okay, so the unknowable issue I mentioned, do you know everything about the whole universe? Do you know where it ends? If you admit that there is no end to discovery, then you'd have to admit there is a possibility that the one that is believed to create it is undiscoverable and unknowable. Last point, don't get frustrated. People have to come to accept knowledge as veritable in their own time and of their own accord. If you try to force them into believing something, then you've stooped to the same level as a fundamentalist evangelical Christian. : I hope these points were worth the time it took to read them. Just think about them. Chance. I definitely plan on getting to a point-by-point video about this. I just haven't bothered yet because it takes a lot of thinking, and that is hard. And seriously, I'd much rather drink beer and play video games. If anybody has any ideas or wants to comment about this message, feel free. And I'll probably post a response to this, going over everything that was brought up, probably this weekend. Probably. Maybe this weekend. Until then.